You really can't escape the conversation around artificial intelligence these days, can you? It feels like every single day there's some new leap, some new way it's going to change things.
It's definitely moving fast. But, amidst all that speed, there's this really fundamental question bubbling up. How do we make sure all this tech actually, helps people?
Exactly. And that's precisely what a group of leaders, tech folks, and policymakers were digging into recently in Africa at a summit down in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Right. This wasn't just, another AI expo. The focus was very specific, hammering out what they called a human-first approach to AI for the continent.
It was. So to really get a handle on that, we're doing a deep dive today using a report from The Citizen. It's dated Monday, May 19th, 2025, entitled Dar es Salaam Summit, Africa Charts Human-First AI Path.
Okay.
Our mission really is to unpack what human first actually means in this context,
Right.
why it's such a big deal for Africa, and what the key takeaways were from that gathering. Think of it as getting you up to speed quickly but thoroughly on a really vital perspective.
And it's a perspective that, frankly, might hold some important lessons for everyone else, too. So let's jump in. What's the core idea, this human-first thing?
Well, at its heart, it's about making sure that as AI gets built and rolled out, the top priorities are human well-being, protecting basic rights and driving progress that lasts.
Okay, so less tech for tech's sake, more tech for people's sake.
Precisely. It's a conscious choice to make sure AI is a tool that genuinely lifts society up.
And there is a prominent voice there pushing this, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Moata, formerly of Google X.
Yes, exactly. His quote really stood out. AI should serve the greater good, promoting growth and global change.
Coming from someone with his background, deep inside major tech innovation, putting the emphasis on the greater good, that carries some real weight. It's a bit of a shift, maybe, from just pure technological capability.
The article definitely positioned his words as a rallying cry for responsible AI. He talked about Africa being at a sort of pivotal moment, even a point of advantage.
An advantage? How so?
Well, the idea seems to be that the continent has this chance to shape how AI is adopted right from the start, tailoring it to its own specific needs and values rather than just playing catch-up later.
That makes sense. And Goddard also said something about Africa having a responsibility, didn't he, to partner with AI for a net benefit.
He did, and that really highlights this idea of it not being passive. It's not about just taking AI solutions developed somewhere else. It's about actively working with AI to build things that deliver real positive results for Africa.
So proactive shaping, not just passive adoption.
Right, and the article clarifies this idea of responsible AI too. It defines it as shaping a future where innovation, and I'm quoting here, elevates every individual, protects our rights, and drives sustainable progress.
That's quite comprehensive, protects our rights.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone is huge. Thinking about how AI systems, say, trained on Western data, might not align with local laws or cultural contexts in parts of Africa.
Exactly. It implies building those considerations in from the ground up.
Okay, so this important conversation happened at a specific event, the Dar es Salaam Summit. Tell us a bit more about the venue itself.
Right. So it was formally called the Future Ready Summit.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting was who organized it. It was a joint effort between Vodacom Tanzania, a big telecom player, the Tanzania Commission for Science and Technology, which is COSTECH, a government body,
Okay, COSTECH.
and the United Nations Development Program, the UNDP.
Wow, that's quite a mix. Industry, government, international development. That must have led to some rich discussion.
You'd think so, having all those different perspectives in the room.
So what was the main goal? Why bring this specific group together?
The stated purpose was really to explore AI's potential, how it can actually drive development that's inclusive, resilient, and sustainable, not just for Africa, but potentially globally, too.
And who was there? Who attended?
It was a broad group, technologists, naturally, policymakers, but also, and this seems important, young people from right across the continent.
Including Youth is Smart. They're the ones who will really live with the outcomes of these decisions. Now, Vodacom Tanzania, as a co-host, they must have had a strong viewpoint. What did they bring to the table?
Absolutely. Their managing director, Mr. Philip Bessemer, really hammered home this theme of human-centered innovation. Seems like a core part of their philosophy.
And he had that great quote the article pulled out. AI is not a one-size-fits-all solution, but a powerful enabler when tailored to local realities.
Yes. That really nails the point about needing Africa-specific strategies, doesn't it? Not just copy-pasting from elsewhere.
It really does.
He also talked about Vodacom's role through things like strategic infrastructure investments, partnerships, and innovation. Basically, using their position to help Tanzania leverage AI to tackle some of those persistent development challenges.
Like investing in the actual connectivity needed, perhaps, especially outside big cities.
Could be. And the article did mention some concrete examples of applications Vodacom is looking at.
Oh, yeah. What sort of things?
Well, Bessemer specifically brought up using AI for financial inclusion, making digital financial services easier to access for people who maybe don't have bank accounts currently.
Okay, that's a big one.
Definitely. He also mentioned smart agriculture things, like using AI for, say, precision farming to help smaller farms use water or fertilizer more efficiently.
That can make a huge difference.
That is more.
And anything else.
And the third was resilient connectivity, which, kind of underpins everything else. You need that reliable connection for these AI tools to actually work.
Right. It's the foundation. So pulling it all together, Vodacom seems to see AI not just as like cool new tech, but as a practical tool to help spread economic growth more fairly and empower people in this digital age.
Exactly. It fits right into that bigger human-first theme of the summit. Which brings us to the crunch point, really. Why does this matter? What should you, listening right now, take away from all this?
I think the biggest thing is this proactive stance Africa is taking. It's not waiting around. There's a clear push to guide AI's path so it aligns with the continent's own values and helps solve its specific problems.
Yeah, the emphasis is really on making sure the benefits aren't just for a few, but are spread across society.
It feels like a significant departure from perhaps, passively receiving technologies developed somewhere else. This is about being an active architect.
It really does. And it makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About the ripple effects.
Well, yeah. If Africa successfully pioneers this kind of human-first approach, what could that mean for other parts of the world? As everyone grapples with integrating AI, could this offer, I don't know, a kind of blueprint, a model focused squarely on people?
It's definitely something to chew on. So just to wrap up our deep dive on the Dar Es Salaam Summit, we've seen this clear signal from African stakeholders, a commitment to a human-centered AI future.
Yeah, focusing on responsible innovation for development that includes everyone and lasts, with real-world examples already being explored in finance, farming, and connectivity.
That proactive, thoughtful strategy is really the core message.
And maybe the final thought for you is this. Considering Africa's deliberate approach, what unique chances or maybe even challenges might pop up as other regions try to weave AI into their societies with a similar focus on human well-being? And perhaps closer to home, how does this idea keeping humanity central to AI connect with how you see AI showing up in your own life and work? Definitely worth reflecting on.